Welcome to Peter and Roofies football show here on STV. The main talking points on tonight's programme. James Forrest signs a new deal at Celtic until 2019. Dundee's Greg Stewart has turned down a move to Birmingham, and as well as looking back at last night's Betfred League Cup ties, we'll look ahead to the three fixtures this evening, all in the company of Alan Rough. And I'm delighted to say Morton's Michael Tidser joins us to talk about last night's win against Premiership Hamilton Accies. Good win in the end. Great game to watch. Thoroughly enjoyed it, Michael. I think you were well worthy of your win.
Yeah, I think we were. Over the piece, I think we probably created more chances than them. At the bar, couple cleared, kind of a couple of shots across goal and stuff. So all in all, it was a good win, and as I say, I think we deserved it. Yeah,
there was a couple of great goals. I mean, Ruffy, you probably have been highly critical of maybe Remy Matthews from a goalkeeping point of view, but I just think it was unstoppable, Michael. I mean, it was a fantastic first goal.
No, the first one, the free kick for Forbes. I think anybody who knows Ross, he's got that in his locker, you know, and he actually celebrated before it actually had the net. I heard him shouting, yes, as it's going in, which is typical. But the second one with Jai Katongo as well was a different class, you know, and as I say, over the piece, I think we deserved it, so it was a good one.
Yeah, he's a chip off the old block of his dad, Jai Katongo.
It certainly is. As I say, he's come in and he's only 18 years of age, strong boy, and he's scoring goals, you know, and I seen a wee interview of the gaffer saying just letting him go out and enjoy it, you know, and that's all he's doing that, and he's scoring, so it's all good for us.
Yeah, I mean, Ruffy, Jose Katongo was a good player in his day, played at the top level. You can see little traits of that, but he is so much stronger. I mean, he takes on guys, you know, a good couple of feet taller than him, and he's seeing them off with his strength.
And if he's in like his dad, you know, his dad's very confident in his own ability, and if that rubs off him as well, you know, it'll chip off the old block sort of a thing. I think the biggest problem if he starts wearing the same gear as his dad, you know, that could be a problem.
Ruffy, he's going to watch the programme. I have to say, Jose, who's a good friend, I could see him about 20 feet away as I was walking out of New Douglas Park because he had this luminous yellow jacket on. But listen, if you get the confidence to wear that as well, he was a great player in his day. But as part of that team, I mean, I'm looking at yourself in there, Jai Katongo's in there. You mentioned the qualities of Ross Forbes. There seems to be much more to you this season. I expect a bit more, having watched the way you guys play football. Jim, of course, your manager, is trying to play it all down.
Well, that's a gaffer. He's been clever, isn't he? In fairness, we've got a good nucleus of squad, you know, like strong back four, good goalkeeper, and we all work hard for each other, which I think is really important. And we've beat Kilmarnock, we've beat Hamilton. You know, we topped the Betfred Cup, the group. So no, definitely, I think it's one of the ones, isn't it? It's the Championship's a hard league, you know. So we're just aiming to do well again and see where it takes us.
Yeah. Do you get the sense, Michael, that everyone is looking at Hibs as the benchmark in that division?
I think you've got to. We kind of the biggest club budget-wise. I know Dundee United are there as well. They'll be strong as well, you know. But if we can finish up round about, you know, we should be looking to. Last year I think it was 5th. So if we can go there or there, go one better, you know, and that'd be a great scene for us.
Yeah, absolutely. I think you're well capable of it. Early days though, and you know, Jim said to us that you know, as far as Morton are concerned, he'd like maybe one more in Ruffy to strengthen the side. But what a night for Championship sides last night in the tournament.
Yeah, certainly. Bad one for Partick Thistle, but even worse one for Inverness. You know, we saw Alloa had a fantastic start, but again, you know, I said it. Beginning of the season, I thought Inverness would be a team. Obviously, Yogi left. You know, there were reasons why he left. You know, but I still think there's things going on up there. And for a long time, Inverness haven't been in that bottom six. But I think they could be a bottom six team this year.
Yeah. Well, I mentioned to you that I believe managers can make a huge difference. I've countless arguments with people about, you know, teams, players, they can get motivated by managers, and Jack Ross has done a fantastic job at Alloa.
Brilliant. We've had him on the show on numerous occasions, says all the right things, and that's why the owners took him there. And he hasn't done anything wrong. You know, obviously there was a couple of seasons there, they were always in the playoffs, but I think they'll get the benefit from that, you know, and obviously that seems to be the case because what a season there at the start of the season they've had.
Yeah, absolutely. Are we surprised, Queen of the South, Michael, getting the win over Hibs, and Hibs had the lead in that game?
When I seen the result, I was surprised, you know. I know they brought on the boy Stephen Dobie. I think he'll do well for them.
Yeah.
it's like it's cup competition, and it's always there's always shocks. To be fair to us, Queen of the South and Alloa, I was surprised it was 3 teams, you know, but it just goes to show it's cup competition. Anybody can win.
Yeah. Do you like the new format?
I don't. I thought it was fine.
Yeah.
It doesn't bother me, and I've not played a lot for the last couple of years, so to get games that were coming thick and fast, it was good, you know. But I know players will say they didn't, but for me, it was fine.
Yeah, the mere fact that you paused there was journalists everywhere going, Tidser rubbish, the League Cup, but thankfully you're in on it. Rangers last night, Ruffy, absolutely no problems whatsoever. And as Mark Warburton mentioned, Nico Kranjčar will take a little bit of time just to get up to speed, what the requirements are, but you know, a couple of goals, couple of assists.
Yeah, we saw it in one of the other games, you know, when he's coming up against obviously less quality, he's got more time on the ball, and he's certainly got all the ability in the world if you give him that time. You know, Hamilton never gave him that time at the weekend, and he struggled a wee bit. But yeah, it's all about getting the pace of the game, and everybody keeps saying when they come to our game, it is a different style of football they've got to deal with, so the sooner he handles it, the better for him.
Yeah, OK, it was a good win for Rangers by 5-0 against Peterhead. Ruffy, I've got to get your reaction to your boys, because Dundee United 3-1 against Partick Thistle.
Yeah, first defeat of the season. I don't think they would have expected that. I would have thought they were up there and got something out of the game, but it just never happened. So I think the league is the big one for them, and they'll just have to try and concentrate on that.
Yeah, OK. I always like to get thoughts on, you know, players possibly coming in and out. We're going to talk about a couple of them. Incidentally, Rangers were linked with a player from France, Rod Fanny. Now, I kid you not, Ruffy, I mean, I hope he's one of the most skillful 34-year-olds of all time, because that's a sub-editor's dream if he signs for Rangers.
And he obviously won't be victim of any banter during the game. So,
you know, I'm actually a wee bit loath to comment on the amount of players that teams are linked with, particularly Celtic, Rangers, and then as you go down, you know, there's 1,000,001 that eventually will never see the light of day, Michael. But that's the joy of it. You get up in the morning, you love to see a bit of speculation.
Well, that's it. You know, I think that's what's been happening now at this time with the transfer window just now. You know, and there's loads of players on the move. You know, and as a player, I've kind of been there myself, where you're not sure what's happening, where you're going, where you're staying, and obviously Greg Stewart, James Forrest. It's always good to get tied down, but as a player, you'd like to know where your future lies, you know.
Yeah, everybody thinks it's super smooth, but in the summer now, especially in Scotland, Ruffy, it's fraught with danger. Not at the end that Michael was mentioning with James Forrest, because, you know, early in the season there, he's got 6 months left of his deal. He's got the bit between his teeth and thinking to himself, well, if I'm not going to get offered a contract at Celtic, I better get myself in the shop window, and he's done that.
No, I think we have to look at the manager, the change of manager there. There obviously is a different view on what his future is at Celtic from the previous manager. Obviously, Brendan's had a word with him, he's told him exactly what is expected of him, and sometimes you get a new manager in, it just kickstart your career again. Unfortunately for James, he's been injury prone, and hopefully he can stay away from that, because he used to go to European games away from home and single-handedly take on top quality European sides. So we all know he's got the ability. I think he just maybe needs a manager to put an arm around and just tell him how good he is. Yeah,
I think you touched on the biggest point there, Michael. It's not a question over his ability. It's a question over him getting a long run without any injury problems. And I think, you know, I might be corrected here, but I think he's had a sciatic problem in his back, which has, you know, stopped him from training the way he wants to.
I think I played with James, coming through the system at Celtic, you know, and he's got so much ability. It's unbelievable. And as you say, he's had a few niggles with injuries, and obviously last season it didn't quite happen to him under the manager, you know. But watching the game on Sunday, I thought he was different class, you know. And you see with his goal, and he's a threat. He's a constant threat, and if you've got players like him, Patrick Roberts in your team, it's good for the boys, you know, and to constantly get at players and cause problems.
Yeah, he'll be like a new signing, Ruffy.
Yeah, I mean, if you shut your eyes and think at his peak when he was staying away for injury, he was superb. He was the main man. You know, every week, week in, week out, star man, scoring goals, fantastic goals, free kicks, and I think we all hope he can get back there, because obviously got to think the Scotland squad as well. At one stage, he was going to be, you know, in that as a regular, but again, the injuries kicked in.
Yep, absolutely. Okay, as far as the League Cup is concerned, we'll talk about tonight's 3 fixtures as well as other news that's emerged over the course of the day. We're going to talk Greg Stewart at Dundee coming up after the break. You can interact with us at Peter and Ruffy on Twitter. Give us your thoughts. Facebook.com/Peter and Ruffy as well. We'll be reading out your tweets and some of your messages regarding your favourite side. So more League Cup action, more from Michael Tidser on his Morton teammate. Welcome back to Peter and Ruffy's football show. Alan Ruff is alongside me, Peter Martin. Michael Tidser of Morton is with us here as our boot-room guest tonight. Delighted to have Michael here talking football, not only domestically, but we will also look at the League Cup ties from last night. We discussed 5-3 ahead, although one person, Ruffy, was raging that we were still talking about the League Cup matches on the 11 o'clock repeat programme. Which I had to mention. I had to mention to him just to kind of put it all in gear for you. But
well, at least later on we'll be able to rectify our predictions, because I don't think we got many of them right.
No, I certainly. Well, listen, I've tipped Peterhead to win the division. Look, they've only lost about 9 goals in the last 2 games. Anyway. Let's talk about Greg Stewart, because conflicting views on this one. Greg Stewart, Dundee accepted an offer, I think, of $500,000 with add-ons from Birmingham City. Now, the reports suggest that Greg Stewart has turned that down. Down south, there seems to be a feeling that Birmingham, that deal's still on. There's a lot more work to be done on that one. You can't rule it out either way, I suppose.
Well, again, we're not privy to what's happening behind the scenes. Obviously, the agent will be trying to thrash something out. He's obviously come to a deal with Dundee, but just having a guess, maybe there's another club.
Yeah.
Maybe his agent has been identified that there is another club would like to speak to him, and maybe it's a better deal. Maybe he's waiting to see, what's on offer. He's still got, a fortnight, 3 weeks to go. I think there will be other clubs who'll see what he's a value to that team, but I'm sure Paul Hartley will be extremely happy about him staying. Yeah,
strangely enough, you don't like to see quality players leave our division in any level, Michael, but Greg Stewart, for me last season, if he wasn't scoring wonder goals, he was creating them.
Mm-hmm. No, I think he was top man up there, and he kind of lit up the division. Some of his goals were different class, and I think they would be really gutted to see him go, but as you say, still 2-3 weeks to go, so anything can happen really.
Yeah, Paul Hartley was at the game last night watching you guys and Hamilton. If anything, Ruffy, I think he did really well to get Fuzzy Little back to to soften the blow of Kane Hemmings. He'll need to pull another rabbit out of the hat if Greg Stewart goes.
Yeah, I think he probably will be actively looking about. He'll know exactly what he needs, and I think he did need another striker anyway, but he's done very well where the contacts are going down the lower divisions, and as we keep saying on this show, he's about the only manager who has really got the nerve to do it. A lot of managers look at the divisions, the lower divisions, and can't really see the player that's going to adapt to the Premier League, but he has, and 3 times he's done it now, the goalkeeper and the 2 strikers, so maybe other managers should start looking as well.
Yeah, so it seems to be always a worry as well, Michael, when you get players who start scoring goals for fun in that window where the transfer, the transfer can be completed.
No, that's it, boys produce the goods, and the thing is, you score goals, you always get a move, that's the way I see it, and it looks like, personally, I think Greg Stewart will go. There's too much interest in him for him not to go,
Yeah.
Whether, as Ruffy says, there's another club interested, I don't know, but I think he'll certainly go.
Yeah, okay. We'll keep our eyes on that one to see whether it's Birmingham or, as Ruffy rightly suggests, it could be someone else just hovering in the background. Agents playing one club off against another. Has that ever happened before? Let's look at this Robbie Nielsen situation where he is looking for concrete evidence that Jamie Walker took a dive before he'll accept it. He's clearly contesting the 2-match ban. It means that Jamie Walker's available for the match against St Johnstone tonight.
Could that be the reason?
Well, you hate to be cynical right at the start of the season, Ruffy, but nevertheless, I think it's cut and dry.
Well, I think a lot of people think it's cut and dry, and correct me if I'm wrong, I think it costs you £1,000 to appeal as well, so there's a money factor side of it as well. I think the Hearts are really upset about the cheat bit. I think that's the one, you know, they're obviously protecting their player, as they're every right to do. He's still a player with a lot to offer in the game, and you don't want to be labelled a cheat, you know, but I don't see how this is going to rectify that, because I think we've all seen it once, twice, 3 times now, and it just doesn't look good on the surface.
Yeah, in the end, it's fine if you get away with it and you get a penalty for your team, but now with the focus, with the cameras, it's proving more and more difficult, and you run the risk not only of the wrath of the players, but people look at you and think, well, wait a minute, you know, you're diving. I think I think Solius Michalunas, the Lithuanian, he gets tagged a little bit with that as well, Michael.
See, that's the thing. I don't think the boy Jimmy Walker's a cheat, you know, and he's anticipated the challenge coming in. He's went down soft. John Beaton's gave a penalty. As far as cheating goes, I think it's a wee bit too far, you know. But as you say, if it's going to get looked at behind the scenes, you know, I think players will have a second thought about it. And which again, it's one of the ones, isn't it? You're in the box and maybe you get clipped and you go, do you know what I mean? Do I go down here? Do I know? But I think if you're getting a penalty and you've been clipped, you've got to go down. Simple as that, you know. But I don't think he's a cheat.
Yeah. Have you noticed any great change? You know, every year the rules change slightly or tinkered with. Have you noticed anything that's, you know, the referees are really clamping down on?
I think, well, run about the box, you know, any kind of a contact they're looking to give a penalty, you know, so you've just got to be very, very careful.
I thought yours last night, that was, you know, that you gave away to Hamilton Accies was a soft one.
Oh, very, very soft. Lee Kilday's done great, you know, to cover and come across. Don't get me wrong, he's badged him, but not enough to. He's been strong, you know. He's defended very, very well, and Stephen Finney gave a penalty, you know, and I think we were really disappointed, but I think that kind of gave us that wee extra incentive to go and try and get through, you know, and we've done that.
Yeah, absolutely. Ruffy, that's the problem. It's not so much the fact that there are new laws brought in or there's a clamp down on certain other aspects of the law. It's the consistency after that I think a lot of managers and players get upset about.
It's consistency, Peter. There's no question about that. You know, when they see something like that happening to the weekend and then a replica, but 9 times out of 10 it's not a replica. It might look like the same, but it's not. It's how you interpret it. And we've said in this show on numerous occasions, the referee's job is hard enough as it is without players, you know, putting an added doubt in their mind. So I always have sympathy for them, because they've got to make the decision right away. I mean, there was the incident at the weekend, I think it was up at Inverness, when the penalty with the jersey pulling.
Yeah.
You know, I certainly never saw that when the corner came over, but luckily the referee did see it and he was quite right to give it. Yeah,
Phil Marston actually did see it. And to be fair, again, it took 2 or 3 replays before you actually got focused in on it. Yeah, and I accept that, yeah. You're jumping to the defence of the referees early on. Is there a dinner coming up, Ruffy?
3 weeks' time.
I had a sneaky feeling that Michael, he defended Dundee United beating the drop last season from December, and I thought there's a dinner somewhere in the offing. He's been invited up to Tannadice on a freebie. Here are the fixtures tonight. Ruffy, Ayr United, Aberdeen, Celtic, Motherwell and St Johnstone against Hearts. St Johnstone, as ever, always stuffy at home, Ruffy.
Yep, I was really impressed with Hearts at the weekend. Again, a bit too physical for me, but certainly get a lot of skill in their team. I don't think anybody wants to go to St Johnstone. It's a difficult place to go. But I think Hearts might just sneak that one.
Yeah, I tell you what excites me about Hearts is they've got that combination. Connor Salmon reckons that Tony Watt could be the perfect foil for him.
Watching the game on Sunday, I thought Tony Watt done really well. You know, should have scored. I think they two will do well together. As for the game tonight, personally, I think St Johnstone might nick it.
Okay, sticking with St Johnstone, we'll phone him at 25 past 11, Ruffy, just in case it all goes pear-shaped. Ayr United against Aberdeen. Now, I always like to keep an eye on Ayr United. Big fan of Ian McCall. And Derek McInnes, as ever, as we told you, he's got players that he's happy that they're still in Pittodrie. Nobody's stolen any of his stars.
No, and I think Ian McCall, particularly at home, might just fancy this one. Obviously, Aberdeen drawn at the weekend, and if Derek goes along with the theme of leaving out his best players, obviously we have to wait and see what the team is. I think if he doesn't, I think Ayr United might fancy a wee shock there.
Yeah, are you going for Ayr United?
Yep.
I was waiting you say
No.
no, I still
No,
fancy
no.
Aberdeen. Michael.
Aberdeen for me. I think, as Ruffy says, it'll be a tough game, you know, and always is at Somerset, you know. But I just think Aberdeen will have a wee bit too much quality for them.
Yeah, I always feel as if Motherwell fans are probably looking and saying, "Oh, this is the last game Marvin Johnson's going to be in a Motherwell jersey." They have to go and try and do something against Celtic.
Well, it's either one extreme to the other. When Motherwell go to Parkhead, it's either a very tight or a drubbing. I think Celtic will win this one, possibly 3-0.
Okay, scoreline as well, Ruffy. How stupid are you going to look when the repeat comes on, Michael?
No, I'm the same. I think Celtic will win it. I'll go 2-0.
Okay, wow, there you are. Michael leaving himself wide open to getting caned by his mates. Great to have you on the programme. And also, Ruffy and myself will be back tomorrow night. Best wishes to Morton for the rest of the season. And tomorrow night on the programme, we will discuss the draw for the last 8 of the Betfred League Cup. From Ruffy and myself, thanks for watching. Good night.